Pay close attention. There is a single directive unclear statement that, when spoken with full presence, activates a dormant force within you capable of reshaping your lived reality. But there is an important condition. This directive is given once. Repeating it doesn't strengthen it, it dissolves it. Repetition signals uncertainty, and uncertainty cancels authority. This has nothing to do with positive thinking, visualization trends, or the law of attraction as it's commonly taught. This is an ancient technology of consciousness, known in Egyptian tradition as the command of Thoth. Its purpose was to awaken the monad, the divine spark of authorship within a human being. Most people spend their lives asking the universe for permission, never realizing they already carry the level of access they're seeking. They wait, they hope, they repeat affirmations unaware that the power to initiate change was never external. Today, you're being shown how to step into that authority. I'm going to walk you through the precise process, how to issue the command, why repetition weakens it, and what creates the final seal that allows the shift to stabilize. If you're done waiting and ready to act from clarity rather than effort, stay with me until the end. What you're about to understand isn't something to believe in, it's something to apply. And when the time comes, don't rely on borrowed words. Don't copy a phrase. Go to the comments and state, in your own language, the reality you are choosing to live from this moment forward. Write it with intention. Let it stand. Then move forward as if it is already done. The secret code of reality. At the heart of everything you experience, there is a hidden language, a source code that not only describes reality but actively constructs it. We have been conditioned to believe that we are mere players on this vast cosmic chessboard, reacting to pieces moved by an external force, always hoping that luck will favor us, or that our prayers will be answered by some distant entity. But that's the story they told you, so you'd never discover the truth. The truth is, you're not the player, you're the programmer. Ancient mystery schools, long before our modern science understood this, they didn't speak of gods on golden thrones who needed to be flattered, but of an immanent force, a divine spark residing at the core of every human being. They called it the monad, the fragment of the whole, the silent observer with the power to collapse reality. They saw it as the system administrator with unrestricted access to rewrite the script of one's own life. I know that discovering you have this level of access can be intimidating. It's like sitting in front of a supercomputer without the instruction manual. To ensure you execute the correct commands and don't crash your system, I've prepared a definitive technical guide to accessing the monad. This security manual is ready and available at the link below. But what we are about to unveil together today has nothing to do with asking, begging, or passively waiting for a miracle. It's about something much more direct and powerful. Accessing the command terminal of your personal universe. Your life is not a random event that happens to you. It is a mirror that reflects with absolute precision the orders you issue, consciously or unconsciously. Most people issue orders of chaos, lack, and limitation, and then wonder why life is so difficult. The first step to turning this around is to stop behaving like a cosmic beggar and assume your rightful position. This shift in attitude isn't an achievement. It's not something you need to fight to obtain. It's an awakening. It's the remembrance of who you truly are beneath all the layers of conditioning, fear, and doubt that have been imposed upon you since birth. The authority to shape your reality has always been there, dormant, waiting for your recognition. The journey to reclaim this power doesn't begin with the battle cry, but with the profound stillness of someone who finally understands the rules of the game. And the first rule is that the universe doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to decrees. From the moment you understand this, the dynamics of your existence are reversed. You cease to be a leaf in the wind and become the wind itself. The problems that once seemed insurmountable mountains reveal themselves as mere blocks of clay waiting to be molded by your hands. Life ceases to be a sentence and transforms into a blank canvas. The question is no longer what will happen to me, but rather what will I create? Now this is the fundamental transition from victim to creator, from beggar to sovereign. However, this newly awakened authority needs a channel to express itself, a way to translate intention into manifestation. It's not enough to simply feel the power. You need to know how to apply it. The secret to activating this creative force lies not in complex rituals or secret knowledge kept under lock and key. It resides in something you use every day, but have never been taught how to use correctly. And most people who try to use this tool, even with the best intentions, end up generating more chaos, trapped in a cycle of unrealized potential, like a powerful engine spinning in vain without ever moving forward. This feeling of unrealized potential is one of the greatest frustrations of the spiritual journey. Many people dedicate years to meditation, visualization, and cultivating positive thoughts. They feel filled with vibrant energy, a deep connection. But when they open their eyes, The reality around them remains unchanged. The bills keep coming. Relationships remain complicated. Health remains fragile. Why does this happen? Why does so much energetic effort seem to produce no tangible results in the material world? The answer lies in a crucial distinction that few understand. Imagine you have a race car, a super powerful machine. You get in, start the engine, and the sound is deafening. The car shakes. The engine heats up. An immense amount of energy is being generated. You could stay there for hours, feeling the power of the engine, vibrating with the machine's might. But if you don't engage a gear and don't step on the accelerator, you won't go anywhere. You'll remain exactly in the same spot in the garage, burning fuel and generating heat, but without any real movement. The positive vibration, the intention, the elevated feeling, all of that is the engine running. It's the potential, but it's not the action. Matter, by its very nature, is inert, lazy. It tends toward a state of lower energy, chaos, and disorganization. For it to organize itself into complex and ordered forms, such as perfect health, abundant prosperity, or harmony in relationships, it needs to receive instruction, a clear and direct order. The universe does not operate based on vague feelings or diffuse intentions. It is a precise system that responds to specific commands. What ancient traditions from Egypt to Greece called logos, or the creative word, is nothing more than the understanding of this command language of reality. Learning to use this language is the fundamental difference between being a passenger and becoming the pilot of your own life. It's what distinguishes those who dream of a different reality from those who actively build it. Most people get lost in their potential, believing that simply feeling good is enough to transform matter. They keep the engine of their intentions roaring loudly, but never learn to engage the gear. They live in a state of almost there, of perpetual potential that never translates into actual power. The real power lies not in vibration, but in the directed application of that vibration. It is the act of taking all that accumulated energy and giving it a vector, a direction, an unequivocal purpose. It is transforming potential into kinetic energy, and the way to do this is through a command, a declaration of authority that informs the universal substance exactly what it should do. It is an act of programming, not of hoping. You are not wishing for reality to change. You are ordering it to change. However, this application of force is an exact science. It is not an act of brute force, but of surgical precision. The way this command is issued, the moment it is uttered, and the consciousness behind it are absolutely crucial. If done incorrectly, with the slightest hesitation or doubt, the effect may be null or, worse, it may completely negate its power, reinforcing the reality you so desperately want to change. The key is to understand that you are not negotiating with the universe. You are issuing a decree, and a true sovereign never doubts their own word. The general secret in battle. The reason why a command should only be given once is one of the deepest and most misunderstood secrets of manifestation. To understand this, imagine an experienced general at the height of a chaotic battle. He observes the field, analyzes the enemy's movement, and with unwavering clarity and authority, he turns to his troops and gives a single order in a firm and resonant voice: advance. Instantly, the army, trained to respond to certainty and not hesitation, moves as a single organism, executing the maneuver with precision. The order has been given, and action is its natural and immediate consequence. Now imagine a different scenario. The same general on the same battlefield shouts, "Advance, please, everyone. Could you advance? I really need you to advance now." What would happen? His authority would be destroyed in an instant. The plea in his voice, the repetition of the order, the implicit, uncertain chall of this would communicate weakness and doubt. The troops would hesitate, the chain of command would be broken, and chaos would ensue. He would no longer be leading, he would be begging. And an army doesn't follow a leader who begs. Neither does the universe. Repeating a command to the universal substance is the equivalent of stuttering. It's a direct confession that deep down you don't believe in your own authority or the power of your own word. Each repetition is a new seed of doubt planted in the field of creation, which effectively cancels the previous order. Doubt is a poison, an acid that dissolves the structure of your intention before it has a chance to solidify into matter. Chaos, formless matter, has no respect for hesitation. It only bends and molds itself before cold, absolute, and unquestionable certainty. The true act of mastery consists of giving the order and then turning your back not with arrogance, but with the serene and unwavering confidence of one who knows that the order has already been received and is in full execution. It is an act that transcends hope and is firmly anchored in law. He who doubts undoes with his mind what he tried to create with words. He who stammers before the universe does not govern. The silence that follows the command is not a vacuum of inactivity. On the contrary, it is filled with one's own conviction. the silent energy that sustains manifestation. Those who trust in their own power need not verify. The need to look for signs, to ask, did it work, is proof that the order was not given with true authority. It's like planting a seed and digging it up every 5 minutes to see if it's growing. You end up killing the process with your own anxiety and lack of faith. The universe tests your conviction. It observes whether you are able to issue a decree and trust so much in your own power that you don't even need to look back to confirm obedience. However, for this unique order to have the force of thunder, for it to resonate through the planes of existence and command matter, it cannot be merely a mental exercise. Your intention needs a physical channel, a conductor that amplifies its power. Most people try to command the universe from a state of misalignment, with a posture that blocks and dissipates energy before it can even be projected. Your body needs to become an antenna, and how you position it is the first step in building a cannon instead of a canoe. Attempting to issue a sovereign command to the universe while your spine is curved, your shoulders slumped, or your body is too relaxed is like trying to fire a high-powered cannon from a wooden canoe. The force of the shot, however powerful the gunpowder, will be almost entirely absorbed by the instability of the base. The energy will dissipate in the water. The canoe may even capsize, and the projectile, if it manages to leave, will have neither force nor direction. Your intention, however pure and strong, loses its impact if the vehicle of its manifestation, your physical body, is not properly aligned and prepared to be a channel of power. Ancient Egyptian traditions, masters of the science of manifestation, understood this perfectly. They spoke symbolically of the Jed pillar, often associated with Osiris, which represented stability, strength, resilience, and, most importantly, the direct connection between heaven, the realm of intention, and earth, the realm of matter. This pillar is nothing more than a representation of the human spine. Assuming an upright posture, whether standing with feet firmly on the ground or sitting on the edge of a chair, is the act of symbolically and energetically embodying this pillar. In this act, your spine transforms into a true antenna. It becomes a straight conductor that allows cosmic energy to flow without obstruction and, more importantly, allows your inner authority, the voice of your monado, be projected outward with maximum efficiency. Adopting this posture is not an act of arrogance or ego. On the contrary, it is an act of profound recognition of your place in the cosmos. At that moment, you are not a beggar bowing before a higher power. You are the pharaoh of your own reality, the central point from which your universe is organized. Conscious and deep breathing is the essential complement to this posture. It serves to calm the chattering mind, the incessant noise of doubt and analysis that sabotages most attempts at command. By breathing deeply, you silence the ego and allow the true voice of power, which does not emanate from the throat, but from your personal power center, the solar plexus, to find a free and unimpeded channel. The body, which is often seen as a limitation or an obstacle, becomes your greatest ally, the sacred temple through which your sovereignty manifests in the world. This regal posture is in itself a silent declaration to the universe. Even before any words are spoken, you are communicating through the non-verbal language of your body that you are ready to rule. You are signaling that you are no longer in the position of victim or spectator, but that you have assumed the throne of your existence. It is an alignment that says, I am here, I am present, I am in command. It is the preparation of the ground, the loading of the weapon before firing. With your body perfectly aligned, functioning as a power antenna, and your mind silenced by your breath, you create the ideal state for issuing a decree. Energy no longer dissipates. Intention is no longer sabotaged by doubt. You become a pure and direct channel for your own creative force. Now, with this solid foundation established, the next step is absolutely crucial. You need to aim, and how you direct this energy will determine whether your command will be a laser shot capable of cutting through reality or just a diffuse, ineffective lamplight. The laser focus that cuts through reality, the energy of creation, that primordial force that responds to your commands, flows exactly where your attention is focused. Trying to use this energy to manifest multiple things at once, such as health, a new job, peace in a relationship, and more money, all in a single command, is like trying to use the light from a lamp to cut a sheet of steel. The energy is present. The light is there, but its diffuse and scattered nature makes it completely ineffective for a task that requires precision and concentration. The energy disperses without causing any real impact. To rewrite a line in the code of reality, to impose a new order upon the inertia of matter, your intention needs to be concentrated, sharp, and directed like a laser beam. Choosing a single exclusive target for your command is not a sign of limitation, but rather an act of immense spiritual discipline and strategic power. It requires you to have the clarity to discern what is truly essential for you at this very moment. What is the single change that, if it happened now, would have the greatest positive impact on your life? Whether it's the complete restoration of your health, the opening of a specific financial path, or the establishment of profound inner peace, the target of your command must be unique and unequivocal. The very process of defining this target is already an act of power. It forces your mind to abandon the dispersion and anxiety that make it jump from one desire to another and to concentrate on a singular point of power. By making this choice, you are, in practice, gathering all your scattered psychic forces and pointing them like a spear in a single direction. The universe, like an operating system, does not respond well to ambiguity. It craves clarity. A vague command like, "I want to be happy," receives an equally vague response, or no response at all. But a focused, precise, and singular command, such as, "I order the manifestation of the exact amount to pay off this debt," cuts through the inertia of reality with the precision of a surgical scalpel, initiating the cascade of events at the quantum level that will lead to its materialization. The clear definition of the target is the act of aiming the arrow even before drawing the bowstring. Think of it like a GPS. You don't type, "I want to go to a nice place in the south." You enter an exact address with street, number, and city. The more precise the destination, the more direct and efficient the route plotted by the system. With the universe, the principle is the same. The clarity of your target eliminates any margin for error or misinterpretation on the part of the universal substance. You are providing the exact coordinates for your manifestation, making clear what should be created. Now, with your posture aligned like a power antenna and your target set with laser precision, you are almost ready. The foundation is solid. The aim is locked. All that's missing is the projectile, the words of power, the exact formula that acts as the system administrator password, the ignition key that finally sets all this energy in motion. You are about to learn the syntax of the language of creation, the words that don't describe reality, but compel it to obey, words that force reality to obey. The language the universe understands is not that of pleading, negotiation, or hope. It is the language of declaration, decree, and unquestionable authority. The ancient formula, "I am the law that commands," is not, as many might think, an affirmation of ego or a display of personal arrogance. It is the technical recognition of a cosmic function. The "I am" in this formula does not refer to your transient personality, your name, your history, or your problems. It is the activation of your deepest identity, the monad, the divine presence that operates through you, the fragment of the Creator that possesses the same attributes as the whole. By uttering the words, "I am," you are identifying yourself with the very ordering principle of the universe. You cease to be the person who asks and become, at that instant, the personification of the law itself. You are not asking an external law to work in your favor. You are declaring yourself as the law itself in action. It is a fundamental shift in positioning. The second part of the formula, "that commands," establishes the power dynamic unequivocally. There is no room for maybe, please, or I hope. It is a direct order, a decree that admits no contestation. The tone used to utter these words is absolutely crucial. It cannot be the voice of the mind, which is naturally full of nuances, doubts, and hesitations. It must be the voice emanating from your center of power, the solar plexus. It is a tone of decree, firm, stable, carrying no questioning inflection, but rather the finality of a period. Each word must be charged with the pressure of your concentrated intention, with the unwavering certainty that reality has no other option but to obey the command being issued. This formula is, in essence, an access code. It's like the administrator password for a computer system, granting you elevated permissions to alter fundamental settings. It's the correct syntax in the programming language of matter. It's the only language that universal substance, in its inertia, understands and respects. By using this formula, you are invoking your innate authority and positioning yourself as a cosmic legislator, capable of writing a new law for your personal reality. Imagine a judge in a courtroom. He doesn't suggest a sentence, he decrees it. He doesn't wait for the defendant to agree. He imposes the decision with the authority of his office. By using the formula, "I am the law that commands," you are assuming the gavel and the position of judge of your own reality. You are declaring the end of an undesirable situation and decreeing the beginning of a new one, with the force of the universal law that you yourself embody at that moment. However, uttering these powerful words, even with the correct focus and posture, is only the penultimate step. The order has been given, the sentence pronounced, but for it to leave the realm of energy and firmly anchor itself in the material world, one last act is necessary. An act that functions as the official stamp on the document, the seal that makes the decree irreversible and initiates its immediate execution on the physical plane. The command needs to be sealed, the seal that transforms energy into matter. At this point, we reach the climax of the process. The moment when the bridge between the invisible and the visible is built. The word, however charged with power and intention it may be, still vibrates predominantly in the realm of subtle energy. For it to be definitively anchored in the physical plane, for its command to pierce the veil and transform into a concrete and tangible event, a final act is needed. An act that functions like the enter key on the keyboard of the universe. An act that unequivocally signals that the instruction has been completed and that its execution must begin immediately. This act is the seal. It manifests as a dry, sudden, and strong sound, like a single powerful clap or a firm, decisive stomp of the foot on the ground. This physical gesture, synchronized with the final word of your command, is not merely symbolic. It creates a real shockwave in the energy field around you, a vibrational jolt that stamps your intention onto the fabric of reality. It is the judge's gavel striking wood, the sound that concludes all deliberation and initiates action. It is the final point that transforms the sentence into an executable decree. By uttering the final and conclusive word of your command, such as now or it is done, and perfectly synchronizing it with this sudden sound, you are performing a quantum physics operation. You are, in practice, collapsing the wave function. You are forcing the field of infinite potentialities, which until then contained multiple possibilities, to manifest in a single, specific reality, the one you have just decreed. It is your focused and amplified consciousness that selects the result and forces it to materialize. This physical seal is the pharaoh's signature on his decree. It is the mark of his authority imprinted in the hot wax of reality, making the order official and irrevocable. It is the act that tells the universe, in a language it cannot ignore, the deliberation is over, the decision has been made, let it be done. From this very instant, the cosmic gears, the laws of physics and synchronicity begin to move and readjust to accommodate this new order. The process of materialization has begun. Think of the seal as the catalyst in a chemical reaction. All the reactants may be present in the container, but it is the addition of the catalyst that accelerates the reaction and allows the final product to be formed. Your alignment, focus, and power words are the reactants. The physical seal is the catalyst that transforms the energy of your intention into a concrete material event. It is the spark that ignites the mixture and generates the creative explosion. From the moment the seal is applied, your active part in the process is complete. The command has been issued, the order sealed, and the universe is already at work. The gears have begun turning behind the scenes. However, what you don't do in the moments, hours, and days that follow this act is what will determine whether the process will reach its successful conclusion or be sabotaged and aborted midway. The total success or failure of your operation depends on your next action. The moment immediately following the sealing of the command is undoubtedly the most critical of the entire process. It is the weak point where 99% of people, even those with the best intentions, fail miserably. After giving the order with power, focus, and sealing it in matter, the egoic mind, conditioned by a lifetime of doubt and powerlessness, enters a state of panic. It cannot cope with the vacuum of confidence. It desperately yearns to verify, to analyze, to look for external signs that it works. This impulse to verify is the most lethal poison for manifestation. Thinking, did it work? Or anxiously searching for evidence is like a general, after ordering an advance, running to the first soldier and asking, "Hey, are you really going to obey my order?" This act instantly cancels all authority. It reintroduces the vibration of doubt into the field, which effectively sends a counterorder to the universe. A message that says, cancel the previous instruction. I wasn't sure about it. You undo with your doubt what you just created with your certainty. The mental and emotional silence following the command is the true litmus test of your faith in your own power. It's not blind faith in an external force, but absolute confidence in the law you yourself have set in motion. The discipline here consists of making an abrupt and total cutoff from the subject. As soon as the seal is made, your conscious mind needs to be immediately redirected to another activity. Get up and wash the dishes. Go for a walk in nature. Read a book. Watch a movie, anything that occupies your conscious mind and prevents it from returning to the subject. You gave the order to your cosmic staff, to the universal intelligence that manages manifestation. Now, your only task is to leave the room and let them work in peace. Trying to micromanage the process with your limited mind is like hiring the best architect in the world to build your house and then constantly looking over his shoulder, offering unsolicited advice, and asking if he knows what he's doing. You only hinder and insult the master builder's competence. Trusting that the command has been received and is being executed is the ultimate test of your sovereignty. This is an act of radical detachment from the outcome, but a detachment that doesn't stem from indifference, but rather from absolute certainty in the law. You're not waiting to see if it works. You're simply waiting for the delivery of something that has already been ordered and paid for. Your attitude should be that of someone who placed an online order on a reliable website. You don't keep refreshing the tracking page every second. You trust that the product is on its way and move on with your life. The universe, in a way, tests your conviction. It observes whether you are capable of giving an order and trusting so much in your power that you don't even need to look back to see if it was obeyed. Your ability to maintain this state of serene confidence, this sacred forgetfulness, is what keeps the channel of manifestation open and unobstructed. Any thought of doubt or analysis acts as a blockage in this channel, interrupting the flow of creation. And to maintain this confidence, it is necessary to radically change the way you perceive your own reality. It is absolutely crucial that you abandon the old, childish image of the universe as a stern father, a judgmental judge, or a capricious deity that needs to be persuaded, pleased, or flattered. This worldview, taught to us for centuries, is the root of our sense of powerlessness. The deepest wisdom traditions invite us to see the cosmos in a radically different way, a way that returns power directly to our hands. As a vast and complex quantum machine, a supercomputer of unimaginable power, which is absolutely neutral and infinitely obedient, this universal machine has no agenda of its own. It doesn't judge whether its commands are good or bad, whether you deserve them or not. It has no preferences. It doesn't question its orders. It simply operates based on a single guideline: to execute the commands it receives with precision and efficiency. Your deepest consciousness, the monad, the I am, is the operator with administrator-level access to this system. The command of Thoth, with its posture, focus, formula, and seal, is the correct syntax for inserting a new line of code into the program of your reality. When you execute the command correctly, you are literally entering a new instruction into the software that designs your life experience. You press the Enter key with the physical stamp. Now, the screen of your life may not update instantly. Just like installing a complex new operating system on a computer, processing a new reality with all its variables and synchronicities takes time. But the code has already been accepted by the system. The gears are already turning behind the scenes to manifest the update. Touching the keyboard again, whether doubting, repeating the command, or trying to analyze the process is equivalent to corrupting the installation file mid-process. This generates an error message and may force the system to revert to the previous stable version of the program. That is your old reality. Your only task after executing the command is to wait for the processing time, maintaining the unwavering certainty that updating your reality is not a possibility, but an inevitability. Understanding this changes everything. Reality ceases to be your master, an external and unpredictable force that dictates the rules of your life. It reveals itself as what it has always been, your most loyal and obedient servant, patiently awaiting your clear orders. You are not at the mercy of reality. Reality is at your mercy. It is a mirror that does not have the capacity to generate its own image. It only reflects what is in front of it, and you are the one who decides what to put in front of the mirror. This perception is true freedom. It's the understanding that you don't need to fight reality or try to force it to change. You only need to change the instruction you're sending to it. By assuming this posture of master and not victim, you stop reacting to what the mirror shows and begin to actively command the image it should reflect. And when this understanding deepens, something even more extraordinary begins to happen. The very need to give the command begins to disappear. The journey that begins with the awakening of your inner authority and culminates in the silent observation of reality reconfiguring itself to obey your decree transforms you on a fundamental level. The command of Thoth, when understood and correctly executed a few times, ceases to be merely a technique to be applied in moments of need. It integrates into your being, becoming your default state of consciousness, your natural frequency of operation in the world. The authority that previously needed to be invoked through a specific posture and a verbal formula now radiates from you constantly. You no longer need to give the command, because you are the command. Sovereignty ceases to be a one-off act and becomes a permanent state of being. You begin to walk through the world no longer as someone who asks, who waits, or who reacts, but as someone who silently decrees with every step. The pharaoh's crown, which was once a symbolic adornment to be worn during rituals, transforms into an invisible crown, worn constantly and naturally. It becomes part of who you are. Your interaction with reality changes drastically. Challenges that were once seen as insurmountable obstacles or as proof of a cruel fate are now perceived for what they truly are. Formless matter, neutral energy awaiting new instruction, a new order. You stop fighting against circumstances and begin to rewrite them from your center of power. Inner peace ceases to be a goal to be achieved and becomes your starting point, the state of equilibrium from which all creation flows effortlessly. This is the true completion of the journey. the full integration of your inner authority into everyday life. Power no longer exists as a single moment, ritual, or command. It lives in the continuous expression of a life guided from the center of your own awareness. Every thought you choose, every word you speak, and every action you take becomes a quiet directive, steadily shaping the reality around you. Mastery isn't about forcing the world to obey. It comes from moving in harmony with it, understanding that life is not separate from you, it responds to you. The struggle fades, effort gives way to alignment, existence becomes a shared movement between your intention and the natural intelligence of the universe. You are no longer trying to win the game. You have stepped into it fully, shaping its direction from within. What began as the search for a hidden key ends with embodiment. You don't need to access the system anymore because you are the system. The illusion of separation dissolves. In its place, a new way of living emerges rooted in unity, sovereignty, and genuine freedom. You didn't just uncover the truth, you became it. If you've stayed with us until the end and feel this knowledge has value, we invite you to support the channel by exploring our ebooks through the link in the first pinned comment. Your support helps us continue creating independent, in-depth content. We're deeply grateful to have you on this path with us. Thank you.